Every 10 minutes, she wanted me to move her, she wanted me to turn her, she wanted the nurse to come in. And I finally had to ignore her so I could get some sleep. It broke my heart to do that. The next thing I knew, the nurse was screaming out her name. And I woke up and she didn't look good at all. She had a heart attack and died. But they brought her back. They moved her down to the intensive care unit and put her on a respirator. And at that time, we knew things were really bad. But they showed me the x-ray of her whole body and her lungs that were supposed to fill your lungs for your whole chest. They'd gotten really small because of the arthritis and the medicine she had to take. And they said, she's got this wrong, she's got this wrong, she's got this wrong. And so probably the reality here is that we're going to have to put her in a long-term nursing home. She's going to be on a respirator for the rest of her life. I knew she didn't want that. The church family came in to see her visit with her. It was really interesting to see something because even though she had this tube in her mouth, every time somebody came in to see her, she would smile at them and she'd open her eyes and her eyes would sparkle and she'd try to talk to them. And we'd play worship music in her and I could see her mouthing, singing along with those tubes in her mouth. But there came a point in time when that all changed too and she started kind of disconnecting. And one morning I went and said, you're tired of talking about your care, aren't you? So let me ask you one more question. Are you ready to go home and see Jesus? A couple of days later, with all the family around the bed, she was struggling in herself. It was a hard thing to see because her vitals weren't going down, but she couldn't hardly breathe. Remember, yesterday I told you about that time when I had the lady in my church who died, and I laid hands on her and told her to be well, and she came back. That's what God told me to do for Barbara. I knew in my heart that she was going to be well, but I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be the love that I wanted. So I put my hands on the side of her face and said, Barbara, in the name of Jesus, be well. And she left. She was gone. I know you guys are going through some tough things in your life. And when you go through something tough like that, you kind of feel like nobody in the world really understands. And that's kind of where I was for a while. Like nobody really knew how painful that was. But I was also lost because I had spent years taking care of her. And I didn't know where to go or what to do with this one. But God began to heal my heart. And so the year went on, and I began working with the church again, and God began doing some really good things in the church. People came around me. And I found that even the worst pain that you have in your life, you never get over it, but you learn to heal. And I think that's the thing that I will tell you about really bad pain, is you may actually hurt over it for the rest of your life, but God can help you to live around it and to deal with it. Coming into Christmas time, I was really feeling lonely. I was actually kind of all by myself there at Rushville. My closest family was in Indianapolis, 4.5 hours away. My daughter was 8 hours away also. Though I had very good friends there at Rushville, it was just me. And God brought somebody special into my life at that time. And we started seeing each other this year. And just a couple of weeks ago, I asked her to be my wife, and for some reason she said yes. Just yesterday morning, her oldest daughter had her first baby, and so now I am a grandfather, and going to be grandfather for the third time. And so out of all the pain, I am just both swallowed up and hurt and enjoy all at the same time. Now, does God always restore us that way? We really restored Job in incredible sorts of ways. But you know, here's the deal. Think about it this way. Job lost everything and God gave him new. Did he ever get over the old? Absolutely not. He lost all his family. You never get over that. But God gave you a new family and a new life and a new fresh. Here's what made me. I remembered my hope. God reminded me of Barbara's reality, And this is the same thing I got with my mom, that is, when you can picture somebody in heaven, well, it's really hard to want to bring them back, you know what I'm saying? Barbara had been in a wheelchair at that point for years. Really hard for me to want to bring her back knowing she was well. He sends people. He allows you to be sad, to cry, to be alone. And that's a part of being a hurt as well, is allowing yourself to be sad and allowing yourself to be alone sometimes. It's an important part. And then at the right time, he brought the right people into my life. So here's what I want to tell you tonight. I'm going to tell you this pretty quickly, but I want to give you just a few things that I want you guys to grab hold of in your hurting and when you need healing. God restores and God heals. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to happen the same way every time. But even in the midst of your greatest hurt in life, our Father in heaven loves you so much that He brings restoration. I don't know what your brokenness is, but I want to tell you my story because I wanted you to know that in your deep hurting, you are not alone. Some of you may have lost somebody. Maybe you've lost a parent. Maybe you've lost a brother, a sister, a cousin, somebody close to you, a grandparent. But I know somebody in this room has lost somebody. Some of you have had friends hurt you, haven't you? Best friends that you've had for years, and all of a sudden they turn on you, and you can't figure out why. And it hurts. Some of you have families that struggle, and you just don't get it. You never have the money you would like to have in your family. Or maybe you never have peace in your home, or maybe there's relationship problems. And some of you have problems like that. Some of you have been really, really sick, or maybe you're sick now. And sometimes there's hurt in your relationship. Sometimes some of you may have been abused in your life. And if that's you, I want you to know that you did not deserve that. If somebody has abused you, you did not deserve it. But you have a Father in heaven who restores and heals. So I want you to just write down in your mind, a little piece of paper in your mind, what is your brokenness? Where are you broken? Where are you hurting tonight? And then I want to tell you a few quick things, and I want to pray with you for your areas of hurting. I want to tell you some things that I hope will help you equip you to deal with your hurting and your brokenness. And the first thing is this: keep in mind that healing isn't always about the physical body. When we talk about healing, it's not just about being well physically, but it's about being well emotionally. It's about being well spiritually. It's even about being well socially with our friends. In Matthew